So the past few days, or I should say the past few weeks, we have seen a lot of rain. You guys have seen, just like you're seeing here when I fly over the property, we've got gray skies, but man, everything is just green as could be. Where temperatures are in the 80s, we're getting lots of rain. You can see this is the perfect time to seed and push your lawn. So yesterday I put out a video about really pushing your lawn with nitrogen. Today I'm going to talk about seeding, because if you're doing food plots, if you're seeding lawns, anything like that, this is the time to get out and do it. Use this weather to your advantage. Not like the 4-pounder I caught the other morning. There's nothing like fishing in the rain, catching fish. Okay, so I'm gonna start this video a little bit backwards. This is the end of my work day, and I'm gonna take you back in a minute to 6:30 in the morning. This has been an absolutely grinding, crazy day. Rachel, John's helper came out. We had to cut everything. We were doing seeding. I'm gonna talk to you about seeding in a minute. This is the time of year, if you've got a warm season grass, this is when you'll be seeding. I want to pull up my weather app because we're fighting rain once again, like in my last video I was talking about, and it's all around us. I'm looking at this radar and look at that. Kind of crazy, huh? It's coming. So we have rain coming. I'm going to look at the daily. 70% chance today, 45% chance. And then it's like 35 to 40 for the next 10 days. So we got rain coming in. This is 80-degree temperature. I got rain. It's the perfect time to seed. And I'm going to be seeding several different varieties. Lots of common Bermuda in the natural areas and fields. I'm going to put down some Yukon, which is a little bit finer on top of this area. We're going to be putting down some Combat Extreme, which is a more cool season grass, over in this area over here. We have to plant grapevines. We have garden work to do. What else do we have to do? We have to work on a compost pile. We need to put some nitrogen up on that corn before it rains. It's just a crazy day. So anyways, I'll take you back to 6:30, and here we go. So let's show you the lineup here. Combat Extreme. This is a mix. This is a southern mix of 3 types of cool season grasses. So let's see, we've got fescues and hybrid bluegrass. This is going to be heat and drought tolerant, so they say, and I'm going to put some of this out on that back area and some of it over there, and I'm going to put it real heavy on this spot over here, because that gets not enough sun for Bermuda. What do I got next? Common Bermuda. This is just cheap common Bermuda. That's going to go in those fields back over here. And then by the pond, I'm actually going to throw out some Yukon Bermuda grass, and I may throw some Yukon back over here. This is just another bag. This is what you get from Lowe's or Home Depot. This is cheap common Bermuda grass. And then this is SPF 30 hybrid bluegrass. So if you look at this disaster in the backyard, I believe that this really, really thick stuff right here, see it? See how that's... Why we have this patchiness is because of water pooling in here. It's just killing the grass. We're going to have to come in here and level this off and shape it. But this, I believe, is SPF 30. It is so thick. It's just like a golf course. But you can see how ugly this is. And this is from, we had 4 massive tree stumps. We installed a 1,000-gallon septic tank. I got my drain field running out here. Then we had to bring in soil, and the soil was so crappy. So this has just been a disaster this year because I haven't been taking care of it. I don't want to invest the time and money in here really until I get my septic tank pumped. Then I'll come back and I'll redo this. This is just for the dogs to go pee and poo basically. So I'm not really worried about it. But the other lawns, we got to get everything seeded. I just got a few hours and that's it. We got a few hours to get everything cut. I told Rachel's going to be here too. I said, bring your boots. I actually bought her a good pair of work boots. And I said, bring your boots, because she's probably going to be doing a lot of this seeding. We're going to be doing just by hand real quick. The cornfield up here, I'll take you up there. I'm doing a nitrogen experiment up there. That upper field that's not doing well. I have 3 broody chickens. And when chickens get broody, if you don't know what that means that they won't leave the nesting box. They think they're going to have babies. They want to sit on eggs, and it kills production. They don't lay eggs, plus it blocks up those boxes. So I pulled those 3 girls and I put them into the Broody Airbnb. What's a Broody Airbnb? The new chicken house for the new girls. I actually set it up fully for them, and I put them in there yesterday. You got to get them away from those nesting boxes. So anyways, I got that going. I got so much going on, dude. I'll never get all this done. So I ran down, I threw a fishing lure. Yesterday I caught a monster. I ran first cast. Today I only caught a little baby, but that was my fishing time for today until later, I guess. We gotta roll. We got a ton of stuff to do. Hello, dears. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? Just sitting there looking at me. Well, I guess they're just gonna sit there and stare at me this morning. Hi guys, how you doing? Oh, the chickens. You better watch out. Those chickens eat deer. You guys are funny. So I'm sitting here next to the cornfield. Those deer are at my feeder. It's actually a nice time of year. The deer just, pretty soon we'll have babies walking around here, which is my favorite time of year. I just love to see the babies out here. Isn't this gorgeous though? So I have preached this over and over and over again. I never want to see dirt in your garden. I never want to see dirt in between your rows. You have to plant clover. Put down clover. Infiltration rate improves. This becomes a whole living web in here. It helps with disease. It helps with everything. Just put down your clover. Now there's some bugs. Let me check for bugs out here. We may have to. All right, so I got a little beetle here. I did see a squash bug. Now if you want to spray something on your plants, you can actually use pyrethrin, not permethrin, pyrethrin. Pyrethrin is an all-natural pesticide that comes from several different flowers, but mostly chrysanthemums. The problem with pyrethrin is that it's not long-acting. Now, permethrin will last for months. Pyrethrin, 12 to 36 hours, something like that. So you really need to come out and you need to look and say, okay, I actively have squash bugs out here, and come out and spray for your bugs or beetles, whatever. You really want to contact them. Dude, I've got so many jalapenos out here. I planted too many jalapenos, to be honest. I've got tons of tomatoes. Look at this. We cut this like a lawn, by the way. Someone was asking. We actually treat this like a lawn. But look at these tomatoes. Isn't that crazy? All right, so we got to come out here with all this rain and humidity. That's what you're going to get. You're going to start to get this. We battle it every year. Don't cut. Don't do that. I got to get some cutters. Same thing over here. Look at this. This is what all this rain and humidity starts. So I did do a fungus treatment out here, but man, we got to get out here. I guess once Rachel gets done seeding, I'm going to have her come in and attack that fungus, and then maybe I'll spray again. But I've just got a ton. I've actually got red tomatoes out here. Oh, little cherry tomatoes are red. Oh, look at that. Got some red cherry tomatoes over here. I've got a red tomato here. I've got 2 more red tomatoes. Look at these squash plants. They're huge. These things are huge. All right, that's enough up here. Let me take care of the girls. All right, so I put out some of their fermented feed. I put out some black fly larvae. I switched out to the self-flushing bucket system, if you haven't seen that. And if you have chickens, that's great for the summertime. We don't use it in the wintertime, by the way. We just use the regular tubs on heating pads. But the new girls are down there, but they gotta stay there for 2 days. I've learned that. 2 full days away from those nesting boxes. Let's release the hounds here. Go ahead, girls. You know where to go. Go get your food. So before I left, I was getting up to 29 eggs a day. With the Broodies girls going on, we got down to low. We're like 20 eggs a day. So it really impacts egg production. And I know I always have some late sleepers. These girls, they sleep in late. I don't know why. What are you guys doing? Why are you always sleeping late? Huh? Why are you always sleeping so late? And it's always the same one. Because one of them's the Goldie. I'll just leave that door open. Oh yeah, she's keeping warm. And I said this in my last video, people say, a lot of people don't understand why this compost pile gets so hot so quickly. And basically, it's like going to the gym. When you go to the gym, if you're working out, especially like you're doing some cardio or some crap, you're gonna get hot, you're gonna produce heat, and the same thing happens in here. This is basically a microbe and fungus gymnasium. They are in there actively working, digesting all that stuff. There's this whole thing that's going on in there. And I'll turn it every few days with the John Deere tractor, and that stuff is unbelievable in nutrients. And that's all we use in our vegetable gardens. So you get some Black Cow compost, get the Dirt Booster Plus, mix it up, keep layer, wet it as it goes, pile it up, and this time of year it'll fire right up, and you can top dress all your vegetables, top dress all your flowers. It's pretty cool. So I need to go check the squash garden real quick. Might as well run over there. Okay, so let me break in here and let's talk about seeding warm season grasses. The majority of people, I've talked about this many times, if you have a lawn that was originally sod, you should not be seeding. You should be pushing your lawn. Now, yesterday I did a video and I talked about really over pushing your lawn with a lot of nitrogen to get it to thicken up, and so that's what you want to concentrate on. Seed, you don't want to put down seed because it's going to look different. This is different. This is a different scenario. I can throw down any seed I want here. This was a junk pile when we bought this. Right now you can see it doesn't look bad. This is almost all common Bermuda. I'm going to throw down a little, we threw down a little bit of Yukon down here, but when you seed, remember, if you have pre-emergent, at minimum 60 days is what you want. So I'm right at that window of 60 days from when we put down pre-emergent. I preferably would like 90 days before I seed, but 60 days is fine. Put down your seed, wait for a rainfall, put down your seed, cut your grass, cut the area, and that's what I do basically. Now down at the beach house, if I have a scarifier, I will scarify, and I might scarify the back when I redo that reseeding. Scarifying is a great way to get seed down in. But remember, this Bermuda seed is so tiny. I mean, it looks like, basically Bermuda seed looks like salt, like Yukon. When you look at Yukon seed, it looks like salt. And I mean, it's extremely tiny. It does not need to go deep into the soil. It really just needs to make good soil contact. And of course, seed, you don't want to let it dry out. You want to keep it wet. So if you're going to be seeding, more than likely you're going to be running your irrigation system 2 or 3 times a day. The most important watering, I think, is right at sunset. Why? Because at sunset, the temperatures start to drop and you're going to get a dew on the grass, and that seed's going to stay wet for 14 hours. Versus during the day where the sun comes out, it's going to get hot and dry, obviously. Now you're battling that. But at night, make sure right at sunset, if you put down seed, that you get that grass, get that area wet. And that's the longest duration for being wet. I got one more seeding to do. I've got some Combat Extreme, and I'm going to put some Combat Extreme over in this area. Now the Combat Extreme is a little bit more supposedly heat tolerant, so I'm hoping that I can put some more down in here. Again, we're just throwing seed down out here. This was a junk pile. This was woods. This was trash. And we just took a skid steer and I just basically raked this and raked this and raked this. And look at it, looks gorgeous. And of course, Rachel's been out here doing all the flower gardens. They look wonderful. So I'm just gonna pop around sort of a summary and show you what was done. But before I do, before it starts raining again, because it's coming, let me put some more seed out here. I also think what I'm gonna do, this backyard, I basically have abandoned it this year because I need to bring in some soil and do some leveling back here, but they need to dig up my septic system, so I don't want to do, I'm gonna come back here, I'm gonna throw out a little bit of Yukon seed out here. I got rain coming for several days. I'll throw out some Yukon on this too, so I'm gonna go walk around, throw some seed, and then we'll go get some eggs, and I'll show you what everything looks like. Anyways. This building has been a blessing. Probably one of the best things I've done in a long time. All right. Somewhere in here, I got a bottle of pyrethrum. I need to get the John Deere out. I really need to turn that compost pile. There we go. Pyrethrum right there. That's it. That's what I want. And I'm also throw in a little bit of fungicide while I'm at it too. Okay, so I just sent this text to my work group and just some notes so I don't forget, because I will forget. We have to hold off on harvesting vegetables until we can organize deliveries, because what ends up happening is you pick the vegetable and it ends up rotting somewhere. Wheat straw that's sitting out has to be moved in the building. We need to finish the chicken setup. The chickens have to be, there's still some stuff to be done. I've done a little bit. We need to seed all these lawns. That's a lot of work. Nitrogen on the corn. We need to cut every lawn. Move the deer corn, it's sitting outside, and fill any feeders that are not wet. I've got some feeders that are leaking. They're going to be replaced, probably. We got to make some more chicken feed. We got to get the crumbles out of here, bring the crumbles up there for the chicken. We got lots of yellow fungus leaves on the lower tomato plants. That needs to be done. We need to plant the grape plants. We need to cut the pond and the shed on a number 2 with the Ego, and I probably end up real mowing the back. That I got to get done hopefully in 5 hours. We'll see what happens. All right. So Rachel and Camille, her dog, are over here fertilizing. Excuse me, are putting out Bermuda seed. We're going to do this whole area in Bermuda. John is over there cutting, and then she's gonna go over there and seed Bermuda over there. I'm gonna run up, and I'm gonna have to start. I took care of all the chickens. I'm gonna have to start probably working on the nitrogen up in the field. That looks nice. Look at that. Now this is a natural area. We don't control any weeds, clovers. We even plant some clover out here. But there's a mix of Bermudas and fescues and weeds and clovers, and look how nice that looks. And it looks nice. I cut that 2 days ago, 3 days ago I cut it. And I really don't fertilize that at all. The girls are very interested in what I'm doing. It literally took me 10 minutes to do all these holes. I love my post hole. I love my auger. It's a cheap China one. It's like 200 something bucks. We use it all the time here. We use it for all this construction. Anyways, so what we do is, here's the mistake people will make. They'll take that pot and they'll put it in this hole. And what'll end up happening is this ground will get really saturated. It's really wet now. and you'll get root rot. So what we'll do is we'll actually, in this hole, we're going to put super compost in this hole, and then we're actually going to plant the plant up a little bit. So that'll be filled with super compost, and the plant will be on top and actually be up here. In this area, it's funny, a while back we tried an orchard back here that just didn't work out, a small orchard. But when we were digging the holes with the big 12-inch auger, we go down 36 inches, we come back 20 minutes later and be filled with water. I mean, you literally can dig a shallow well here anywhere on this property because there's such a low water table up in this area because it all flows down into here. So anyways, I'll find someone to do this work. I'll probably have Rachel go ahead and get a bunch of compost, fill the holes, and then I'll show her exactly how to do this. All right, the grapes are all planted, and we'll just train them. We will train them to go over here, which is pretty easy with grapes because they're very sticky. No, girls, you can't eat this. The morning chicken choir. Okay, so it's the next morning. We have got seed down. They're pissed at me, they want their food. We've got seed down on everything. All these natural areas. I put common Bermuda by the cabin, common Bermuda, Yukon by the pond, Yukon on the back. I came out here, I hit that upper field with some nitrogen for the corn. I put that cool season grass mix, I put that out down there on that one area. But this is yesterday, we busted our butts. I started at 6:30, everyone else showed up about 8, and we busted our butt till about 11:30, 12, and then it started to rain. And it rained, I think 7 or 8 hours, just a beautiful light constant rain. And that's the rain that you want for this seeding. The other thing is, you're going to choose a time for seeding, like even if it's food plots, just rely on that 10-day forecast, pull it up, and when you start to see constant pattern move in where it's 30 to 50% chance like every day, that's when you want to get ready to seed. You don't want to wait till it's 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, and you have a drought and you know it's 87, 90 degrees. That's going to be hard to keep up with irrigation. But when you have these days come in and every day you're getting a rain or a thunderstorm, man, it's awesome. Well, let's see how much rain we actually got yesterday. Well, we actually got quite a bit. 0.6, so over half an inch of rain. Over half an inch of rain. I moved my rain gauge to a clear open area, so now it's more accurate. I'll be there in a minute, hold on. Another gray sky, more rain. I'm telling you, if you're planting anything as far as like a lawn, even food plots for deer, anything where you're going to be doing a lot of broadcasting and you're not necessarily going to be digging your seed in or planting your seed deep, look at your 10-day forecast and absolutely rely on that. Temperature is critical too, time of year is critical, but I'm telling you, look for that time. Don't go out and throw seed when it says 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%. Wait for that time, and all of a sudden, like we have now, it's 30%, 40%, 55, 60. Look for that time when you know you've got some patterns of rain coming in. Anyways, that's it. I got a bunch more videos coming out. Give it a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you later. Doc.